of nation's representatives to discuss on the global issues and learn the art of negotiation with leadership. At the very onset, I extend a warm and respectful welcome to our principal sir, representative of Kautilya Niti Sabha, coordinators and all my dear students. To mark the auspicious beginning of this program, I would like to invite our Principal Sir, Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General of Kautilya and coordinators to kindly come forward and light the ceremonial lamp.
Good morning everyone. Good morning respected principal sir, or the teachers present here, our students. Thank you for welcoming us with this warm gesture. And without any delay, I want to start the workshop with some basic facts. So, how many of you are aware what is an MUN? Please don't be shy. Okay. So basically MUN stands for MUN, or we call it in short form. The basic idea of MUN is to simulate whatever happens in the United Nations. Like the crisis which is going on in Russia and Ukraine in the present month. So that needs to be calculated and quickly, emulsified. But now, this particular agenda could be raised in the United Nations Security Council. Right. So in order to stop this disruption, UN is there. And why MUN is important for the students? Basically, it will help you all to be the next leaders. We often think how you guys are chosen. So let me give you a small history lesson, right? How many of you are aware about who is Chanakya or something at the same time? Will you know even how Chanakya became Chanakya? Or why do we follow the Chanakya Niti or Arthashastra? Anyone can elaborate for me? No one? Okay, let's start. Basically, before Mauryan Empire was there into existence, there was UNGA dynasty which ruled over India for a long time. And the ruthless ruler or the arrogant ruler or the rude one, they call him, Nanda was specifically tasked to rule the empire. At that moment, Alexander the Great was approaching to our country to invade it and to conquer it. Chanakya completely advised the king, sir, or your eminence, please mobilize your troops so that we can protect ourselves. We saw this young bright man named Chandragupta Maurya. He trained him with war propaganda, tactics, military, everything. Diplomacy, negotiation. Now, what happens? Speak to it later on. Chanakya was responsible making the Mauryan dynasty. Till now? Can you explain what was the approach?
One of the experiences I can share is the 15th year in celebration that was conducted in our school previous year. So I led 55 volunteers for the program, so I had distributed all the tasks. No, I had not conducted the program single-handedly, I had to help from my teachers. But yeah, with the help of my peers and my teachers, I distributed all the tasks, maintained discipline during the program. There were 1,000 plus audience and also respected the head of the techno group came. So yeah, I managed all those tasks. And also our school generally conducts programs such as inter-house cricket competitions. There are sometimes fascinating competitions as well. So I generally try to conduct help in the discipline part mostly. The creativity part is actually done by the teachers who are the house masters.
Whenever you need to speak, you just cannot approach the dais. Also, this is called a dais. Alright? So when we tell you, please approach the dais, it means we want you to come up and talk to us. Alright? Clear? So whenever you want to come up to us, talk to us, you raise your placard and say, request to approach the dais. Clear? Point of information. Point of information. So it is basically used to ask the delegate a question so that they may clarify their speech. Once you done with the moderated topics, you heard someone's speech and you have a doubt, for example. In that case, what you do is you write a POI. You write a question where you ask them to clarify whatever they have said. So that's a POI or sub-agenda. Alright? And now, how do I know if my agenda? We all know that after the whole procedure, you come up with boarding papers, or we call it the resolution. So what is the resolution? It's basically you make a paperwork in which you write down, we will be giving you the format, right? So you write down all the supposed solutions that you have got. Alright? So once you make a proper working paper, alright, you will be approaching the dais, submitting the papers, and after that, you will be raising a motion to vote. Now, why the voting? Majority again. So there are always two kinds of amendments. The paper you make, you know how in the parliament you always have these Lok Sabha. What is that? What happens in that? What happens? Any idea? Someone?
Like there are constituencies or like part in which the whole country is divided, and from each like constituency a like representative is chosen, and in the Lok Sabha they discuss about
Mind if everyone
that is passed on to the Rajya Sabha through a bill, and then
laws and amendments. You've all heard about this thing? Laws and amendments. You guys have call signs?
Organizations, there are 5 permanent members who have the veto power. If the non-permanent members make a decision and one of the countries, suppose Russia, is against it, they can give a veto and they can say no. Then the whole decision will be opposed.
Russia, China,
USA
Russia, USA. Okay, sit down.
and China.
China. 3 we have. Okay, you.
United Kingdom and France.
Very good. So we have 5. In nation, the world does not work on equality. It works on equity. Can someone just tell me what's the difference in equality and equity? Anyone?
Company, for example, if a shareholder in a company has, for instance, 10% equity of a company, he will get the 10% profit share on that.
No, that's equity.
And ma'am, I have another doubt. In UN, as we discussed earlier about veto power, do the countries assigned to the portfolios, for example, an individual who got China in an element, do they have veto power in this
Absolutely,
country as
they
well?
have the veto power.
The same treatment of every individual, whereas equity is different treating of people according to their needs, so that everybody gets an equal opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
Order, point of personal privileges, point of information.
Very good. Why were you raising your hand? You're scared? You don't need to be scared. Very good. Can I please have a round of applause? Okay, so
Even what happens, you have to re-amend the whole resolution, we will discuss over it, and then again the votes will be taken. In order to votes to be taken, there will be a quorum, either 2/3 majority or 1/3 majority. But in this case for tomorrow, there will be half plus 1. Like 50% of the committee plus 1, that is the total number of the votes we will be looking for to pass any motion. I won't be referring you as guys, but I'll be referring you as delegates from this moment onwards, and I'll pass the motion. Okay, so you have to vote. And you guys since don't have the placards right now, what you can do, you can just raise your hands when I ask for, and can't, raise your hand when I ask. Okay?
No, we don't need it. Thank you.
Okay, so motion to break the committee for a break. Delegates who are for the motion, please raise your hand. Okay, this motion passes with clear majority. We can now break for this committee's adjourned for this moment. We'll move for
about how the proceedings usually are, and we basically know the basics by this time, right? So now let's come up to the opening statement. You can see the board, right? Everyone can see the screen? Alright, so you have assertion. So this is the basic of how you build up your opening speech, or you could say rather any speech. You start with assertion. Then you go with the reasoning. Then you put forward an example. Now you might think you already have assertion here on top. Why assertion here again? Right? The major part where everyone misses out on any opening statement is this. Ending with an assertion again. Okay, so the Secretary General will be taking you forward to explaining this with examples.
Before I start, I want to ask one question. How many of you are excited for tomorrow's mock? Okay, how many of you have prepared the sub-agendas? You have prepared the sub-agendas, I can see in the room. Okay, before I start, I request the delegates to refrain from using any kind of unparliamentary form of language. Okay? For that you might be debarred or your points will be fined. Okay, to share an experience that I had. I attended IAM event, you have heard of that, right? IAM event. I participated as a delegate of Zambia and in the committee of UNHRC. Does anyone know what is UNHRC full from?
हम हिंदुत्व को बजाय रखने के लिए हम धर्म देख के मारेंगे। अब क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप इसमें? आपको देश प्रेम नामक चीज आती भी है, सही कहा था, पर देश की पुत्र अभी अपने नहीं होंगे।
150 करोड़ इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो को हर साल फूकती है। क्या इसका मतलब ये है कि आपकी इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो में ऐसे करप्टेड ऑफिशियल्स हैं जो कि ये पता नहीं कर सकते कि कश्मीर जैसे एक इतने वाइटल एरिया में भी मिलिटेंट्स आके घुस के मार कर निकल जाए? ये आपकी एक साजिश है, एक पब्लिसिटी स्टंट है।
आप कहते हैं साजिश है, हम कहते हैं साजिश नहीं, ये पाकिस्तान की फेलियर है टू थिंक दैट वी विल स्टे क्वाइट। हम पे जब अटैक हुआ तो इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर नहीं मान सकते हम। अगर इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर होता तो 9/26/11 आपके तो कांग्रेस के राज में सबसे ज्यादा टेरर अटैक्स हुआ है। आप ये कब कहना चाहेंगे कि आपने सबसे ज्यादा आप इस टाइम में देश की सेना के पास कोई इक्विपमेंट नहीं था, बॉर्डर पे जंग नहीं लड़ने जा पाते थे।
अगर हम टेरर अटैक्स की बात कर ही रहे हैं तो हमने जैसे देखा कि जब पहलगाम पर अटैक हुआ तब जो मिलिटेंट्स ने अटैक किया उन्हें पकड़ने में कम से कम 10 से ज्यादा दिन लग गए। पर क्या हम ये नहीं बोल सकते या तो कोर्ट में ट्रायल के लिए आए थे?
इसका मतलब ये है कि तुम लोग ये 10 दिन जो टाइम लिए, इसका मतलब हम लोग ने भी उसको ढूंढने में जो टाइम लगा, तुम लोग ने क्या किया जब ताज अटैक हुआ था? तुम लोग ने क्या किया?
उसी दिन सब लोग ट्रायल पे थे।
उस दिन ट्रायल में कितना टाइम लगा? कितने पुलिस मरे थे? कितने गार्ड दिए गए? तभी क्या हुआ? ताज
हमारे वहाँ तो पुलिस मरे थे, यहाँ तो सिविलियंस मरे, वो भी 26।
You say that you have taken strict measures by committing Operation Sindhu to take measures against Pakistan. But if that's so, why did you agree on a ceasefire without taking back our land, occupied Kashmir? Shame. To agree on a ceasefire without taking back our land. Isn't our land that right, which is still in the hands of the enemy?
आप शायद भूल गए थे कि जब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हुआ था, हमारे ऑपोजिशन के मेंबर भी उन्होंने एग्री किया था और हम देश के जवानों को आगे रखते हैं। The army and the air force had the full permission to operate onto themselves. अगर आप ये भूल जाए कि सीज फायर की जब बात ही हो रही है तो हमें सोचना पड़ेगा कि हमारे देश के जवान भी इम्पोर्टेंट है। और आप कैसे ये बोल सकते हैं कि पाकिस्तान ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर, आप पाकिस्तान ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर की जो बात उठा रहे हैं, कांग्रेस ने आज तक उसकी तरफ देखा भी है?
अरे आप तो बस हमारी गलतियों के पीछे बस डोरा बांधते रहते हैं और जवानों की गलती, जवानों के प्रति प्रेम दिखाने का दुस्साहस मत ही कीजिए। आपने ही अग्निपथ स्कीम लाया था, 4 साल के बाद जो कंपैटिबल होगा वही बस आर्मी में रह सकते हैं। इसका मतलब वो क्या है, जो दिन रात खट के ट्रेनिंग करके सुबह शाम दौड़ के भाग के 4 साल बाद अगर वो एक मार्क्स के लिए भी अनफिट लगार दिए जाते हैं तो वो 4 साल के बाद घर में बैठे रहेंगे। इससे तो साइकोलॉजिकल डिसऑर्डर हो जाएगा। इसकी वजह से ही तो PTSD होते हैं ऐसे आर्मी वेटरन्स को। आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
आप PTSD आर्मी वेटरन्स से आपकी एक सेकंड, आप जो बोल रहे हैं PTSD होती है आर्मी वेटरन्स को, आपको ये पता नहीं होगा कि देश की जो सेना है उसमें अगर युवाएं जाएंगी आगे बढ़ेंगी तो उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? 4 साल का टेन्योर अगर हर एक व्यक्ति को, अगर हर एक युवा को मिल रहा है अपने देश की सेवा करने का तो उसमें आपको क्या ही प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है? हमें पता है हमारे देश के सेना को ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के पोस्टर में मोदी जी का फोटो था। आर्मी के लोग ये पब्लिसिटी स्टंट लेंगे तो क्या है? मोदी जी फ्रांस में 25 करोड़, यूएस में 16 करोड़ बस इंटरनेशनल ट्रिप पे मारे जा रहे हैं। तो हम लोग जैसे इनके जैसे लोगों के पैसों से आपके मंत्री घूमते रहते हैं। अगर एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस होता नहीं है आप लोगों से, आप लोग क्या करेंगे? हमारी सेना मंत्री ने इमरजेंसी लाया था और हमने
opportunity to address the urgent issue of preventing proliferation of small arms and light weapons, an issue that directly threatens global peace.
A question of small arms and light weapons for international peace and security. As a nation that has faced persistent security threats from terrorist organizations and non-state actors, Israel supports effective international measures to curb the illegal transfer and misuse of these weapons, especially to conflict.
This student reminder by Dr. Stalin resonates with me, as SLW silently claim over 500,000 lives every single year. They are, as the United Nations has warned, weapons of mass destruction in slow motion. And with 1 billion firearms in circulation, 85% in civilian hands, we cannot afford a silent. Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates. This is the delegate of Russia speaking. The UNGA Global Finance Study 2020 shows more than 550,000 people every year, while the IFQ report 2023 highlights brokers and middlemen as central actors. The Small Arms Survey 2021 estimates over 135 million unregistered arms worldwide. These statistics are not outside the mean school shootings in America, Congo Haram rifles in West Africa, cartoon violence in Mexico, and to provide forms
with a grave concern, the unchecked proliferation of small arms and light weapons. These weapons are not just tools of war in real time, they are fuels that keep conflict alive. Our nation's history from Congo wars to persistent regional instability, and where weapons flow freely, peace becomes a distant dream. The consequences are devastating.
The Federal Republic of Somalia aims to express its appreciation for the opportunity to
this critical issue. In today's agenda, the proliferation of small arms like weapons, or SAW, it is not taken simply as a challenge for disarmament, but it's to ensure the livelihood, peace, and security for millions of citizens.
As a nation, it has led from the easy flow of small arms and light weapons across its borders. The arms and from legitimate states.
SLWs, fuel arms conflicts, prolongs violence and undermines law and order. So that historically both an importer and a transit hub of SLWs has witnessed how these weapons empowered armed groups. According to Small Arms Survey, nearly 2.7 million firearms circulate in Sudan, the majority outside the government's control. A striking example is Darfur, where the easy availability of light weapons has escalated local disputes into full-scale measures. Civilians, including women and children, have borne the
entire global community, the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. A recent UN Security Council report, S2023-823, highlights the illicit flow of these weapons conflicts with illicit armed flows, contributing to a staggering 700 civilian deaths per day globally. This is not a merely security issue, it's a profound humanitarian crisis. We are actively engaged with the UN Office of Disarmament Affairs, UNODA, and its regional center in Africa, UNREC. To strengthen our national capacity, we are a proud state party to the UN Programme of Action, UNOPA, and we are the first African nation to ratify the Arms Trade Treaty, ATT, in 2013.
A brutal conflict where SALW have played a central role in fueling violence, empowering non-state actors and destabilizing entire regions. We do not speak of theory, we speak of lived experience. Syria recognizes the urgent need to address the uncontrolled spread of SALW, particularly their illicit transfer to terrorist groups and armed militias. These weapons have prolonged our suffering, undermined our sovereignty, and turned our cities into battlegrounds. We call upon this committee to confront the uncomfortable truth. The nature of these weapons
become instruments of economic power for terrorists, often serving as a currency in illicit trade across conflict nations. This dual role exacerbates insecurity, enabling extremist networks to sustain operation without formal funding. To combat this, Russia emphasized the strict tracking and regulation of SLWs alongside inland waterways and other transport routes, consistent with UNCLOS principles regarding jurisdiction over navigable waters. Terrorists exploit gaps in inland and transboundary transport to move weapons without impunity. Russia promotes Africa and Middle East. Can you explain why the international community should trust your commitment to present SLW proliferation when evidence shows overlapping supply chains? International laws and bilateral agreements, unlike illicit trafficking, these transfers are transparent, documented and reported. The assured hand is the unregulated SLW that no state claims responsibility for.
Globally, past decade saw 85,148 terrorist attacks involving SLW responsible for 1,93,170 fatalities worldwide. Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, the delegation of China wishes to emphasize an uncontrolled spread of small arms and light weapons is one of the greatest enablers of terrorism. Reports and audits have revealed that US access to international alliance systems, they can definitely track the records and help them track the illicit transfers happening.
Emphasizes that small arms and light weapons are crucial tools that fuel terrorism globally. Terrorist organizations rely on these weapons to spread violence, destabilize regions, and threaten innocent lives. Especially Iran, through its support of groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and Houthi rebels, has been a significant provider of arms, training, and financial aid to terrorist organizations. I would also like to clarify some doubts and accusations made by the delegate of China in this regard. She made an allegation that the United States stockpiles lack oversight and risk leakage into hands of terrorists. I would like to give a response that over 2 lakh obsolete munitions have been responsibly destroyed under the Democratic Demilitarization Act with stringent controls maintained on remaining stockpiles.
Every bullet in their hand is a bullet against peace, development, and innocent lives. The DRC believes that cutting off of this supply chain
goes to Delegate of India. The high commendation goes to Delegate of Russia. Unfortunately, China has two marks lacking in analysis. Other than that, the opening speech was good and everything. Delegate of Germany is the president.
Thanks. At the conclusion of today's and yesterday's Model United Nations program, I express my sincere gratitude to our respected Principal Sir for his constant support and guidance. I would also like to thank all our coordinators, activity department and administrative staff members for providing all the support and necessity which made this workshop and the MOM possible. And a special thanks to our group, Kautilya, Niti Sabha, who graced us with their presence and insightful workshop and walk, which has made this session most valuable. Last but not the least, I thank you all the participating students for actively involving yourself in the workshop and the walk. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.